Yeah, I am sorry. I had myself muted. Yeah, the usual. How are you? Yeah, so um, in terms of the pastiles that we've got in this game, we've got three of the scoring pastiles, but no dwelling pastile. And then we're short temp ship and worker power. So it's kind of a game where early expansion is going to be a little more tricky without two of the power tiles in the game. And early expansion is also slightly less rewarded because that dwelling tile is not there. That said, I mean, that's one of the best ways to build economy, so I assume that we're still going to see that. It is a fire and ice factions game, but the first three picks so far have been cultists, engineers, and nomads. So only the fourth seed is likely to, yeah, to switch things up. Yep, and they're on the blue. So it's a relatively friendly color wheel. The final round dwellings are generally a pretty decent scoring event. The big building tile is actually like in round five. Um, a lot of the time, like the conventional wisdom is that that's not a very good scoring event, but with factions like engineers, cultists, and I mean, and for nomads that might be true, but for if you're like engineers and you've got all your dwellings out by that point, um, the only stuff that you might have left on your board is like the big buildings. And that could be like a nice way to score. That said, I mean, with distance scoring, like basically double incentivizing economy, it's not clear that people will want to build, like how many people will want to build big buildings that around, especially, like cultists with their stronghold. Round four TPs. Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah, and I'm often looking at like, I mean, it depends on how many dwellings you can get out before that, right? Like, if you can get out a bunch of dwellings before that, then it's going to be really good. We also do see that the action early is on Ice Maidens, and I think that that probably has to do with the fact that Ice Maidens starting with a spade and with landscapes on are extremely strong because Ice Maidens, I believe, have no prerequisite to place their landscape. However, once that landscape is placed, um, then every time they make a temple, they get a free spade. So effectively, that's going to get them at least one spade in round one, one extra spade in round one, in addition to dropping their landscape. So like the fourth seed Ice Maidens is really nice because of that. Also the fact that Ice Maidens need to dig every time that they place. So blues are Like blues are equally good to greens and blacks in this game for Ice Maidens. That's right. Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm expecting here. Uh, yeah, that's right. So Ice Maidens actually obey the color wheel, other than the fact that they don't have their native faction. Um, so other than the fact that they need to dig to place on like their quote home hex, they function pretty normally to everyone else. The other nice thing is that ice factions also can't or have cheaper dig upgrades. They can't have their home hexes disrupted, or they can't have ice hexes disrupted, um, which I think is like a fair compensation for the fact that they don't have any natural hexes that they can build on. Looks like you need Yeah, so the thing about this map is that it's like connection on this map is very interesting, right? Because and this is obviously how Freddie Harris designed it. There are two large land masses in the West, and basically most economic starts involve getting a lot of leech early. Just like fjords or like base, people are going to want to start on those land masses. However, there's like a lot of choke points as you try to expand to the east, and when you want to hit your natural hexes, you're really going to want to ship and expand to the east. Um, but then it's not trivial to connect your eastern structures to the west. Or if you start double west, then even getting through to the east, like you might have some trouble. Um, so engineers, you can see that they have some shipping options if they get like a spade here and there as they go to the east. For example, like D7, you can't actually ship anywhere directly from there, but you could put a spade on either E5 or D5 to get to D6, um, you know, or to try to ship down to I9, you need some like extra spades as well. Um, I think that nomads, in my experience, I think that I'm playing nomads on at least two different games here. Nomads seem strong, and their stronghold seems very good on this map. Um, if we look at, for example, G5 to I5, that's part of the large landmass, and no one is naturally red or green. So that could be like a really, and red is a single dig. So even without their stronghold, they can still get one dig for two hexes there. If we look at the west, they've northwest, they've got B1 to C3. Um, Now Ice Maidens could start on C2, but that seems a little unlikely, right? So they could be getting that stretch as well with their stronghold. I would find it very surprising if I'm the one that they can hear and not you.
It's because I muted myself. Hey, everybody, I'm here
Oh,
too.
you actually muted yourself.
It
Interesting.
sounds like the deranged's been talking to himself here a little bit. Sorry about that. I promise I've been contributing a little bit to the
Oh yeah,
conversation.
for sure,
But
for
but I
sure.
think we're both here now. All right.
Yeah.
Well, in any case, we've got a game. Cultists on 40. Red Alert on Cultists on 40. Claybo on Nomads on 39. Bizzle on Engineers at 30, and then Ryan, the man, on Ice Maidens at 28. They're still thinking through starting positions. All right, everyone can hear everyone now.
Right. I'm
Love it.
hoping so. Okay, yeah, so apparently I was the only one who could be heard. Interesting.
Yeah, I'd
Um,
love to blame it on Discord, but I muted myself. What are you gonna do? Okay, so we
so
got
this is
some
very interesting.
center starts.
So
Yeah, look at this.
yeah, yeah. D3 for cultists is not like you wouldn't think of it as being a particularly high reach spot, but this is the power of placing first on a new map, right? Like we don't know like the meta placement that well yet, but here's Red Alert placing D3, which is not a town spot by any means for cultists, right? Like a lot of the time people place their place in a place where you can get both leech and a town and connection or something. Red Alert looks like he'll be able to get leech, and this is a good connection hex. It
Yeah, I
kind
guess
of
you could
bridges
just
the east and the west, but
go for B6 there, right?
yeah, but the fact they
Yeah,
got two
interesting.
neighbors is kind of a blessing.
Oh yeah, because that could have been rough otherwise. I guess D3 could have been nice to cut through, but yeah, without any neighbors, that would have been rough. Because yeah, it looks like cultists don't really have a. I wonder if Red Alert will end up going north or south with the second dwelling, or maybe stay far east. But there's not really great neighbors on the southwest landmass there.
Yeah, the fact that all those Browns are on the very bottom row is a bit of an issue for them. Um, that said, they have one neighbor. They could, wow, wow, this is really interesting. We've got a lot of placements in those center aisles, which is definitely different from like, what you might expect, which is with two large land masses, people will often just, place there, try to carve their way to towns and try to get leech there. But
Yeah, this is gonna
um,
be interesting. Yeah, Red Alert in
this
chat is saying no idea what starting spots are good here. Red Alert, who's playing cultists here. So
we're
wow,
probably about to find out some
this
of
will
the
be interesting. I mean, it looks to me like cultists are going to be able. I don't know. Depending on what nomads do, this could be a little bit ugly, but it looks like cultists do have expansion options, like kind of in a couple of different directions. So I'm seeing from the H7 hex, they can end up digging and shipping their way to I6, and if they get on G8, they can make their way to that western landmass too. They can get maybe to E6 before nomads. Shipping's going to be huge here because, and then from D3, I guess it's basically just getting up to that northern landmass. Maybe
yeah, and
it looks a little
interestingly,
awkward no matter what.
there's no temp ship in this game. But this is a game where people will want to ship very aggressively. Um,
Yeah, particularly with the
both of the
greatest distance on. That could
Yep,
be there could be
yep.
some like make or break moves here. I'm also going to try to figure out how to. Here we go. I'm going to draw ourselves. I'm going to highlight that greatest distance so that I don't forget it. I'm going to put that in
So
red right
both of
on
the
stream.
high coin tiles are in this game, which makes it relatively, not coin poor. But the Earth Coins event is not in the game, and the Temple event is early. So the cults aren't that coin rich, but the past tiles are pretty decent. So we're gonna see how people are able to afford shipping.
Yeah, maybe a
Obviously, Red
couple
Alert has a
Fire
lot
1
of interest in
takes.
shipping.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, I wonder if we'll see Fire 1. It looks like Ice Maiden started off with Air 2, but I'm guessing that's just to be able to put themselves in position for double spade. Maybe not. Maybe that's more spades than they want.
The fact that the double spade is good incentive to go for air two. The fact that there's an air worker in the second round as a reward, I think that might play have some influence as well.
Yeah, that
Sometimes
makes
people might start
sense.
Earth two if the round one has Earth coins.
Totally, totally. Okay, yeah, this is interesting. There's like a couple of different. Rarely do you see this many starting clusters. I feel like where folks could upgrade next to each other.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Four
It's
different
not.
starting locations. It's like very bizarre. It's like looking at a five-player game or something.
So one thing that's notable here, perhaps, is the fact that so Ryan goes ahead and double spades.
Yeah,
That makes a lot of sense, and that's a
yeah, that makes
very
sense.
aggressive double spade. Um, it looks like he spent two spades on one hex there, um, and dropped his landscape. He could have. So this is a move toward connection. Um, Now Ryan only needs either C5 or C6 or E3, which is very expensive to connect. Um,
Yeah, it's still with a spade in hand, 6 workers, 17 coins. Like this is kind
it's
of nuts.
it hurts nomads for sure, I think.
Yeah,
Um,
that's rough.
I
Clavo
think
can't be
nomads
happy
would love
about
to
that.
connect to their northwest via like D2 and F2 or something, but now it's going to require like a lot more shipping.
When do you think we'll see the Nomad Stronghold come out here? I mean, I don't know if Clavo's going to get enough leech to be able to go Temple round 1, Strongholds round 2, but you know, I guess big building tiles in the game. Yeah, I'm sort of wondering when that's
Yeah,
going to happen.
with the right passing, I think it's possible, but that requires some luck or some extreme foresight and sequencing and power actions. Like he could pass on to a 6 coins tile, right? Or he could
Totally.
pass on to like the 2 workers tile, but he might be taking a power action before then, either 2 workers or 7 coins. But he might have to do that before he knows which one he's going to get. So that sort of anticipation, I think, might be in play. Um, I think engineers have gotten 0 leech so far.
Oh, yeah,
Visitor
this
can't feel great about that.
could be ugly. Yeah. Well, okay, so what does cultist opening look like? I mean, there's a chance that they go double temple here. I mean, wanting to have they are the sort of cultiest faction here, and priest production is going to be necessary for that shipping. I mean,
Yeah, it's an interesting game
it's
because it doesn't
possible.
look like the cult rewards are good. But I mean, round 2 workers is always welcome. But it doesn't look like incredible cult rewards down the line. Like
Yeah,
if
it's
we look
true.
at the cult rewards, like the 2 water cult events, like that priest event is extremely underwhelming in my opinion. Unless like somehow they have a plan to use those priests to increase shipping rapidly in round 4. But that's a TP round where a lot of the times you want to be building TPs. So it's not really clear to me that cultists are going to be as explosive as cultists very often are when they can get like a really early, like a round 1 spade or something, or they can
Yeah,
get like a
yeah.
whole bunch of coins in round 1. This priest event is like by far the worst event for cultists in round 1, right? Like there's literally no points that you get for going up cults.
Yeah, were they the 40 faction here? Were they at 39? I don't remember
Cultists
who.
we're at 40 here, I think.
Yeah. So I mean, like
Clavo,
lots of reasons why it's at, that makes sense, but I feel like
yeah,
with an explosive start that could end up being a really good deal off the auction. I mean, it doesn't look like they're going to have that explosive start, but
yeah. So far, they have also gotten 0 leech, which I don't think is great for them. Um, the double temple right now it is possible because they have so many coins and no one has grabbed those workers yet. We'll see if they
yeah.
want to.
So we've seen Clabo snagged single spade to grab H4 there. That one dig for 2 X's you were talking about during the auction. Um,
That seems to hurt his chance. I think taking a single spade is usually not great for our chances at getting a stronghold out in round 2. Um,
yeah.
but the single spade actually increases his leech quantity because depending on first of all, it gets him 1 extra leech from when ice maidens make their temple. But if ice maidens put their other spades on like H3, for example, then that could be extra leech there as well.
Yeah.
But it's not clear where Ryan will want to put his other spades. He has at least 2 more coming in because he gets one from the landscape when he makes his temple, plus he has the spade in hand.
Oh, right. Okay, so the temple is what triggers that additional spade. Yeah, okay. So Weber in the chat wondering what the hell is going on here. Yeah, it's a messy start for sure. We also see Cultist take Priest. I imagine there's a good chance that'll go to air. They're going to end up with a lot of workers going to round 3 for whatever good that does them.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I do like the priest take here. Um, I think that it's going to put. I mean, they've also taken air too, right? So they are going like despite not getting leech, they will have the power to take like a coins action soon. The
Totally.
priest to air will give them 4 power. Taking a coins action is good. If they have the workers, then they might be able to even afford like a hard dig going into the dwellings round and advance their shipping aggressively. If they get like multiple coins actions or pass on to like high coins tiles. Um, like the workers are there.
Totally. And yeah, Weber. So this is Archipelago. So Chris Harris, Fruity Harris, put together a custom map that's been getting some play in like a league that came together recently, and it's gone undergone a couple of different changes so far. But this is a pretty serviceable version, I would say, from my impression of it. What would you say, Deranged?
Yeah, I think that this version is quite interesting. Earlier, I think that someone asked if blue is good here. I think that blue is a little tricky here. We can see that like Ice Maidens made their lives a little easier by taking that I2 hex, but that was actually two spades for one hex. You can't usually do something like that. But because of like their leech situation and the fact that they don't have a home hex color, they were able to kind of waste that. Yeah, Weber is saying that blue seems really bad. I agree. I think that mermaids really struggle on this map. There's just not like a lot of great opportunities for mermaids to make towns, especially in the west where there are neighbors. Um, and there's not a lot of one ship. There's like one ship like with a dig, but not so much just straight up one ship hexes or even two ship hexes.
And like my impression is that I've played on a couple of the different custom maps that are starting to come out, and I anticipate and hope that there'll be a bunch more. But my impression is that like from a design perspective, I think it's very difficult to get a balanced map that is viable for like a regular Mermaids game. And this game, I think, is playing on extra hard mode from a design perspective because it's kind of a new concept. It's not just the more standard formula of two main land masses, a couple different like uh, starting spot A1 and A2, and then starting spot B. There's like kind of a little bit of a formula that like base map and fjords in particular, fire and ice, I'd say, kind of follow. And this one kind of deviates from that. The concept is basically to have these two land masses. For anyone who it wasn't here when I think Deranger was talking about this earlier, two land masses to the east, and have a little bit of a fight for expansion and connection through to the to two landmasses on the west, and have a little bit of a fight for expansion over to the east. And what we've seen is a bunch of starts in the middle, a couple starts in the west, and some other games. So I don't know. All that to say, I think it's very difficult to design a new map that's viable for mermaids and for the other factions, particularly with dwarves and fakirs considerations.
Yeah, I think that that's a good point. And Locks in the chat is saying that it's difficult for dwarves to use the map. I agree with that. I think that this map feels like very noticeably better for fakirs than for dwarves because when you have a lot of riverways dividing small land masses, dwarves really struggle unless like those very key corner hexes are going to be gray. You know, like
Totally.
um,
And on base map,
Nima,
there's that one stretch where there's like a double wide river. It's like a triangle, that
right,
which is
right.
like the sort of divides like the north connection for the dwarves and the south connection for the dwarves. On this map, you can see, if you can see where my cursor is, like between F3 E4 there's this double wide. There's this huge gap in there that's really kind of like hard to surpass. So you really got to work your way around a different way there. Like E4 could be a key hex depending. So yeah, looks tricky. In any case, yeah, there's a lot to be said about the custom maps, but I feel like I've talked
Uh,
through half of this
Looking a
first
little
round.
forward now, so Nomad's got the first priest to air, so Cultists actually went off of air and went onto the water track where there are double
Oh,
rewards
interesting.
later. Nomads have put a 5 power priest to air, really getting like a
Wow.
big lead on that, which I think is a very interesting move. We
Getting
see
two
that
coins
Ice
off of it
Maidens,
right away too.
yeah. Ice Maidens have taken over like the entire South and basically kind of wrapped Nomads up. But I think that Nomads are actually really happy now. If we look at the past tile that they're going to get, they're either going to get a coins tile or the two workers, which means that they should have enough stuff to get out Stronghold if they
Yeah,
desperately want to.
that's the dream. I
And
mean, that's a lot of points, and it seems like it's going to be really necessary on this map. Like, what is connection? I guess at this point they could go for one way or another. They got to get G6 or I6. I guess they're going to be able to get I6.
yeah,
Yeah,
it looks like
connection
they're
could be
probably going to
evaporating
get
over here.
beaten to G6, like
Yeah,
just based off of my looking here. But Nomads can get H6 and be okay. Now that's a lot of digging to get there, or like
It's a lot of digging.
sandstorm to
It's
get
also
there.
just one ship for engineers too. Engineers could upgrade ship right now and take that next turn if they
Yeah,
wanted to.
that's true. Yeah, nomads might have to say goodbye to connection for their southern town, unless, yeah,
Yeah, this could be rough. And
this
then
double
obviously
dig by cultists.
there goes the yellow on I7 too. So cultists do
Yeah,
manage to get that double spade this round, so their expansion options are looking pretty good too. They can get some shipping up. They are on the ship scoring tile. Looks like they're only, unless I'm missing something, only getting to one ship this round.
it looks like they did that just for the power. That's the only power
Mm,
tile in the game.
yeah, yeah,
They
okay.
may increase their shipping, but that doesn't seem like, yeah, like right now, um, the shipping doesn't seem to get them any. Oh, that's not true. That's not true.
It gets some I6, but it's not
Yeah,
clear that,
we'll see how
nomads can snap that up
nomads
at any point too. So
nomads. Yeah, I think that nomads might just immediately start making their stronghold. This map is, or rather, this track doesn't have a town event, so I think that there's a lot of incentive for nomads to just town up early. Towning early is good when there's no late town event.
yeah, that makes
It can really
sense.
help juice your economy if you kind of go all in on going temple and then stronghold in route two, no matter who you are.
Do you think that we're going to see a trading post on H4 here then? Do you think that we're going to see Clabo go for stronghold upgrade in the same, try to get a town out
So
this round potentially?
my only hesitation on that is that he may want a five hex town in the south. And if he wants a five hex town in the south,
Yeah, yeah, okay.
then putting a stronghold there would be a waste.
That makes
It would be an
sense.
overbuilt town. We also see that Clabo sent first priest to fire, which
Culting
means that,
nomads. Love that.
yeah, I think that Ice Maidens have tempo. Like, I think that we should really pay attention to the two key town race here, right? Ice Maidens have tempo in the two key town. They can make two TPs right now, and then that would be it. It would trash their worker economy,
They could
but
also go Sanctuary for fire too. I'm not saying it's good, but Rafa is pointing out that cultists didn't do Sanctuary round two, so someone else could do it. I know we got
yeah,
Weber in the audience
or
here.
Weber.
Big fan.
I know that Weber loves seeing a sanctuary. Yeah, so I think
No,
that
there it is. I think you called it.
this may be, yeah, this could be fire too. Or sorry, this could be the two key town. I mean,
Yeah.
Clavo is obviously also in position to take a two key town, right? Like
Yeah.
if he strongholds in the south and then sandstorms any hex, then he has the two key town. Um, and like that priest of fire seemed to indicate that he was interested in playing. He's got three priests on the cults already. Um,
Yeah.
while the rest of the three factions have a combined one priest on the cults. So
I
that
wonder
definitely
if
tells
Claymore.
us.
Yeah. Sorry, I cut you off there.
No, yeah. So I mean, he wants a culty game. He might be. Oh,
Oh,
okay. So
Sanctuary. That's spicy.
this is
Yeah,
a.
so because I mean, so here's I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't know if Clay was connecting those three structures in the south. I mean, maybe this is part of the
I don't think he's
culting
connecting.
play
I think that
here.
he's seen the writing on the wall. I think with the way
Yeah.
that Ice Maidens chose to open this game, I think that he might be ditching those, but it's not clear he's ditched the rest yet.
Yeah, I mean, he could still get a maybe a second or a third, depending. I mean, engineers are in the game, so if they connect, but connection's not a given on this map by any means. That said, so Bizzle does have his upgraded ship. He's got his two temples out for the favorite tiles you'd expect. He's got Earth 2, Earth 1, and he's going to be able to on one ship. He's got just enough resources here to hit H6 and C1. So that's a pretty strong opening. Like ending this round with two temples, three dwellings.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. This looks quite good for engineers, even though they lost a gray. That E3 hex is now quite safe. Like nomads are the only other faction that is even within a single dig of it. Um, and I mean, nomads are obviously in no position to be contesting that hex right now, so they will
Yeah,
connect. Um, the engineers will be able to connect to the west, to the center, and then it looks like they might fight for D5 or maybe just E5 in order to get over to the northeast. Um,
yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, E5 looks pretty safe at the moment. I think Ice Maidens would have to be on two ship, or Nomads would have to be Stronghold. I wonder if this is a. Yeah, I wonder what Claybo is doing here. This is interesting. It's
think Slaybo is also making a town here. I think Slaybo might take a 1P town or something here. Like, I don't see what a ship town necessarily gets for him, but right now he can take a single spade to finish a
Oh, I
town as
see.
well. I mean,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
took
I see.
water one, right? Water one is a very interesting move here. He also might, like, this is just a random prediction, right? I think he might make a second TP. He might convert his power into workers and make a
Yeah,
second TP
yeah, yeah. He
because
did
he has
just
a
get the
whole
neighbor
bunch of
for it.
air workers coming off the cult. So um, if he's able to advance ship and get dwellings out next round, then make
Yeah,
another TP here, use your water one while you got it,
yeah, that looks
and then
nice.
build dwellings next round.
What do you think then? Chip Town, Coin Town?
Uh, I mean, I don't think like an 8 pointer is awful. He still wants a
Okay.
culty game, and the eight
Yeah,
pointer
yeah.
comes with a worker. So like a priest town might also be interesting, but he doesn't have enough means, I guess, to really justify a priest town.
He's pretty low
Weber's
on
wondering why
coins. It
not
looks like he's
strongholds
gonna
here for
get.
no.
Oh, sorry, what?
Yeah, so I want to address the chat. Weber says why not strongholds here for nomads? I think that's a good question. I was definitely I don't know. I think Lustrous is also thinking that stronghold seems really good for nomads. My gut feeling here is that with the way that cultists and ice maidens were playing, it seems like nomad's connection is in jeopardy, and nomads already have air too, so they don't have a scoring favorite. They don't have a great way to score points. Um, with Ice Maidens rushing the two key town, they also noticed that, oh, they're not going to get that two key town like that quickly either. So I think that securing a scoring favor is not a bad idea here. Um, that's just how I felt.
He
But
did end up building a TP right after it. So whether or not he's gonna convert and build the second one right here for the town, which it kind of looks like he might. I'm not. Well, I don't know. But regardless, I mean,
yeah,
Earth One's still available. So if he's eyeing a temple next round, he could manage to get both. And yeah, so he passes now. So if he builds a temple early next round, he can get both water one and earth one potentially. And at that point, he didn't build another dwelling after upgrading the sanctuary, so may as
yeah,
well
it's
get
very
the
true. He almost certainly
points.
has tempo on Earth One compared to Cultists. Like, I don't think, I mean, Cultists could pass onto the Sanctuary tile now,
Right,
and
right,
they
yeah,
could Sanctuary Earth One, but I feel like that would be really bad for Cultists. Like,
yeah.
that
I
would
mean, sanctuary that's not part of a town looks
that would
pretty rough.
annihilate their point economy.
What are
And
cultists up to? Cultists also have a bunch of workers coming in. I mean, they've got a bunch of dwellings down. Yeah.
yeah, I
What
think
are,
I don't mind this move from Clava. So Clava is playing a little more points greedy and is the only person, as we've said, like he has three priests on the cults. The rest of the players have a combined one. Iceman's did take a two key town, but they used their priests to advance shipping instead of putting it onto the cults. Everyone else is fighting network, using their priests to advance shipping, and
yeah, yeah.
Clavo is kind of playing tall. Um, he's using air workers, so he doesn't need as many dwellings to get his production up. And I think that this pass might mean that he's going to rush Earth one here. But we'll see. We'll see if that's actually what it means.
It's also a nice pass in terms of getting him a spade and a couple coins too. That's a nice
Yeah, I
tile to
mean
have
he
landed on
needs a
here.
spade. So yeah,
Yeah.
that spade could also become like maybe like a priest tap. Um,
Okay,
a
so
priest tap
Bizzle.
would be nice.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so Bizzle passed early to get the 6 coins and tempo on this double spade. It looks like. So we see him dig E3 and E5 here to really secure. If he can get on E3 before it gets messed with here, that's going to basically secure his connection and access all across the map.
Yeah, yeah. I think engineers are in quite a good position here.
And greatest distance looks pretty good for them too. I mean, they've got. I don't see them with any like corner to corner stretch that they're going to really be able to hit in all likelihood, but they can span from maybe C1 to B9
Yep,
very
yep.
easily.
A long horizontal stretch is often like the best thing you can do for
Yeah.
distance.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't have too much experience with it. And the other thing is like I don't know how many of these other players like we don't think Clay was necessarily connecting all the structures. I'm not sure how many of these players are vying for greatest distance anyways. The one
Yeah,
game that Bizzle has won so far this season, I think, did have greatest distance scoring in it. The Giants game that he won, yeah, because they were playing on what's called on Fire and Ice map. And when I was talking to him after the game, he said that he had basically eyed up his greatest distance line straight from the start, and he ended up getting the exact one he was looking for. Now with giants, I guess that's a little bit easier because you can dig, but in this case, I don't see anyone messing with that B9 hex, and that looks like a pretty good distance.
Yep, I agree. I agree. Um, with Clabo not building the stronghold yet, it doesn't look like even if nomads like shift to D4 or D5 rather, it doesn't look like they would really mess with D6, which is a key hex to get there.
Yeah,
Ice Maidens, I guess, might be the biggest threat because um, it's only one dig, which is so it's as cheap as it gets for Ice Maidens to get to B8. And we know that ice factions can advance their spades. So they could try to take away B9. Um,
yeah,
and B9 is like a not that undesirable of a hex for Ice Maidens, right? Because that's good for their distance too.
it's true. It they might kind of shoot themselves in the foot in terms of getting a neighbor for a town over there potentially,
Yeah,
but
that is true.
hard
I'm
to
looking at it,
say.
and if they want a sanctuary town like on B8, A10, A11, then having engineers on B9 is pretty good.
Right
And
as you say, yeah, that's true. Right as you say it too, they do take B8. So I mean, so they're already
yeah,
threatening that hex, whether they want to do something about it or not. There's nothing Bizzle can do about it just yet.
yeah, I think Bizzle will just say like, what happens happens. I
Yeah,
think that
totally.
even with D6, engineers I think are going to have distance over cultists, and nomads, as we see, are probably not really in that game anymore.
Yeah,
Um,
probably not. I don't see. Yeah, I mean, what does a tall nomads game look like? Like Claybo, if there's a way to pull
Hard to
this
see,
off, I feel
right?
like Claybo's. I know. Well, seriously, like I feel like if there's a way to pull this off, Claybo's going to be the one to do it. But looking at everyone sort of knowing what this map is all about and looking at the way that everyone's expanding across the map so far, like three factions have done a really good job of securing their hexes and making this all work. And nomads do kind of look left out in the dust right now.
Looks like nomads are going to have some pretty nice opportunities here, though. We're going to see if Red Alert cares about A7. If not, then nomads are going to get that hex. I think that we're likely to see a hard dig on E6, which would have been good, which was something that I think cultists wanted. But I think nomads are going to beat them to E6 with a hard dig, which also
E6,
opens up
yeah,
F5, H8.
right, okay.
So Claybo can
Yeah,
make some
Clay
points
can get
here.
it. That's true. Clay can get to O, and then C6 goes, wow, yeah, these spots are all just getting gobbled up. Yeah, it looks like so. I wasn't paying enough attention to his resources, but it looks like Claybo can get to two ship and hard dig if he wants to this round.
Yeah, I mean, he took a ship town, which I mean, I was not expecting him necessarily to take an economic town because he's not going to be getting it. We still don't think that he's getting connection points,
Yeah,
but it does look like it'll help him to score this round, right? Like taking a priest town is 5 more points straight up, but those extra coins can now be used to build dwellings and advance his shipping. And since this is a dwelling round, if he gets out 2 extra dwellings this round because of it, it's way better for his economy, and he gets those points right back.
absolutely. Yeah, and I think it's got to be E6, like you pointed out in F5, right? Because that really does open up. I mean, maybe he wants to secure A7 as well, and he can leave F5 hanging. That would probably make more sense. But
Yeah, that's the impression that I'm getting.
yeah, yeah. I mean, this looks pretty good. Ah, he's got a lot of resources still. All right, so we see that second ship advance. What's happened otherwise? Engineers are again the first out of the round with access to double dig if they want it. And
I
then,
think that they want it. They certainly don't need coins. Um, we're looking at what
ah,
engineers
maybe not.
want.
Yeah,
Bizzle as a player really likes towns. So engineers right now need a couple, definitely need digs for their towns. So I think we're almost certainly going to see some spades going on here early.
yeah,
He
definitely.
could want E4 to make like a sanctuary town or like a mini bridge town with G7 and H6. He could
Yeah,
want D5. I think that D5 will actually be a pretty good bet because that'll help him to access B9 as well. It's also a TP round, which is traditionally really good for engineers. I don't know that he should be taking water one this round. Um,
for
he
engineers.
might just
Yeah,
want to
I
build
wouldn't be
4 TP
surprised.
instead.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say I wouldn't be surprised if he just got his double dig and then built as many trading posts and town locations as possible. I mean, it looks pretty good. There's no. Oh, there is. Yeah, he can. He might end up being able to pass on to the trading post tile too uh, if it's open, or more likely if Clabo passes on to it now, he'll have tempo on that. Depending on he'll be passing after Clabo in turn order. Um, yeah, Wayne Cook. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, this is Terra Mystica. As Deranged points out, we are in round 3 right now. Deceptive because we're not halfway through the game. As the game goes on, these folks can have a lot more resources to play around with, and I think we'll see it slow down a little bit. But it does feel like this has gone pretty fast so far. Um,
Once it
I
got
don't know,
started, it was pretty fast. I think that the
particularly on a new map.
auction and just
Yeah.
nominating the factions and people trying to get a grip of what this map was took a little long, but since then it's been moving it. Oh, Bizzle does not have access to double spade.
Oh, I was
The Ice
wrong. Where
Maidens, Ice
was?
Maidens might be double spading instead.
Okay. Yeah, I think I just miscounted his power there. Okay. Could take the single spade if he wants it. Could
I mean, there's
just.
no way that single spade is being contested right now. Bizzle could take coins, but yeah, I think that it makes sense for Bizzle now. Now that he's not getting double spade, there's no huge reason for him not to just take water one. I think maybe he's not going to be
Okay.
able to build a lot of dwellings this round.
And that
Um,
that trading post tile is surprisingly open, going coming out of
into
this
a
trading
TP
post
round,
round.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Well,
I mean,
so Red Alert needed coins, and Red Alert got the coins action, which is absolutely huge. This round looks very good for cultists,
yeah. Look
right?
at these
Like,
cultist resources.
yeah, I mean that's just cultists, right?
Do you like playing cultists? Like if you between cultists and halflings, even, would do you have a preference?
um, I mean, I don't like playing against cultists. I think that they're
Yeah,
pretty
that's
clearly the
fair.
strongest faction in the game, and how like they can feel very overpowered. Um, but I think that if you get like a good cultist game going, then it can feel really good, right? Like it feels good to play like a strong faction. And yeah, like cultists, I usually when I play, I very often have two temples out by the end of round 3. Um, Red Alert kind of had a slow start because he didn't get. I mean, I'm still not sure he's really gotten leech this game, right?
Yeah, it
I think
really hasn't.
he got one leech from H6, I think. He might not have. I think that engineers might have beat him there. And Ice Maidens gave him one leech on B6. Um,
The other problem we see with cultists here is that that last copy of Water One just went, so they missed out on Earth One and they missed out on Water One.
wow, that's really interesting.
It's
Yeah,
kind of rough. I mean, it's possible that cultists could take advantage of. I mean, cultists are going to be able to take advantage of, I think, a lot of the scoring tiles that are left in the game, and then
I
some of the
also think
bonus
that
tiles too.
cultists. I mean, cultists are also winning two cults here, right?
Yeah, totally.
The Earth cult and the Water cults have not been contested. Slabo went up the Fire cult. I mean, basically, this is a game that didn't have great cult rewards, right? Um, like, yeah, I guess we can kind of say that it's nice cult rewards on the Water track, but they're they're stacked cult, which is good for cultists to go up it, but they're
Yeah.
not like the best rewards. He got like one priest, and now he's gonna get like two spades. The two
That's
spades will be
interesting
fine.
because I usually think of spades and workers as like the better of the cult rewards. But
That's
like I
true,
guess
but like
it's
the
not
timing of them
coins.
matters,
It's
right?
not coins, yeah.
I will
Sorry,
say
what
the
you say?
fireworkers look like a good reward, but Clabo is
Yeah.
getting that.
Yeah, he's so far the only one taking advantage of it. But Wayne in chat's asking, do you play this game often? I'd like to see a game from the start. Yeah, so a lot of the folks, so both me and Deranged, who are commentating here, and a lot of the folks who are certainly playing the game, and a lot of folks in chat have played a good amount. So if you're on Board Game Arena, or if you create an account on Board Game Arena, you can basically just look up any of these players and watch a replay. Basically, you can see a recent game of theirs and click through a replay if you want to. That's one good way to see a game from start to finish. These players are all really strong too. I think all 4 of them went to this game in the top 100 BJ, and I think 3 of them in the top 30 or 40. Like, very, very strong table here.
And Lustrous, you also have games on your own channel, right? Like the games that
Oh,
you've
that's
played
true.
should be available
Yeah.
on VOD. So if you want to sift through Lustrous's channel, then you should be able to view some of the games that he's played as well.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so as soon as we're not live, you can just watch a previous game, basically. And actually, there's series of you should be able to see all of them. There's this series in the Terra Tuesday League here. All this is game 5 of 5. The previous 4 should all be available to watch as well. So check those out. A lot of really good games. So what's happened here? Ryan on Ice Maidens has taken double spade. But my impression of Ice Maidens, not that I have not played Fire and Ice factions myself before, or I don't think I have, not more than once at least. Um, Ice Maidens usually play pretty tall, right? But they've actually got a decent footprint here.
Yeah, I think that that has a lot to do with the way that round one played out, right? And I think that Ryan has also kind of intentionally like that C7 placement was very kind of expansion oriented. Um, I mean, I wouldn't say that this is not a tall Ice Maiden's game, right? They have two temples and a TP up, and they've only got five dwellings out. So, I mean, like in terms of the distribution of structures, they have a pretty high number of upgraded structures,
Yeah, that's a good
relatively
point.
speaking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, so engineers
Um,
start working their way further east there. Like you said, the single spade was not under threat here.
yeah,
And
Ryan's not gonna be able to upgrade his. Ryan probably will not be upgrading digs this round, right? He doesn't have the coins to do that. He probably wants to just build TPs and dwellings here. I imagine that he wants to build two TPs and one dwelling here. Maybe C7 or A8 will be a TP.
yeah, how many
Um,
towns are we looking at for Ice Maidens? I think this is a 3-town game here.
this looks like it could easily be a three-town game.
There's just like the one
A
bridge there up north.
Yeah, it could be a
Yeah,
bridge
yeah,
or it could even be a sanctuary. No, I think a bridge town is way more likely than sanctuary town. That could probably be a bridge stronghold town.
yeah. Okay.
And then the center, they'll have advanced digs, so they can carve through as much of the center is still left at that point. C4 specifically looks extremely safe in B5. Um, nomads are gonna nomads might want a stronghold here in round 5 or something, help them finish up more towns. Because
Yeah,
Saban has a
nomads
lot of
are.
points right now, and he does have two scoring favors, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to make that many points off of building dwellings in round 6. Um, Cultists have aggressively taken away natural yellows, and like B1 is hidden behind two triple dig hexes, and B2 similarly, like he doesn't have the ability to ship there, so he would want a stronghold in order to get to that.
Yeah,
Um,
stronghold in C2 looks pretty good. I mean, that's also
I mean,
that could
Bizzle might want
be.
that.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's a double dig for Bizzle that hurts an opponent pretty badly. Bizzle could end up with it going for a sanctuary town with the D2, D1 stretch, or bridge into E3 for like he's got a lot of options, but I would imagine the sanctuary town could go in the south instead.
Yeah, yeah.
Still,
Yeah, it looks like there are three engineers towns, right? Like we have H5, H6, G7. That's a town. Then we have E4, E5, D5, D6. That's a
mhm,
town.
yeah.
Um, so Bizzle is going to want four hexes on this town. He'll either want C2 or E2.
It looks like there's a lot of potential bridges for those town locations. Do you think we might see a stronghold from Bizzle next round? Like he looks a little low on resources for some of these options.
We'll probably see some economic towns and probably Fire 2. I would imagine that we probably see Fire 2 for the Sanctuary next round. Um, because otherwise I'm not really seeing how all these towns are going to get built.
Yeah,
And again,
same.
like I think that Bizzle wants like many towns this game. I that's just my suspicion is that he does.
It's a great way
But
to score
he might
points.
not be thinking that. Yeah. So Red Alert has passed first. He passed onto a point style, which makes a lot of sense. He wants the resources from the coins, the Act 4 coins, and he wants to be able to score points without Earth 1 and Water 1.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, that's what
and
he's
he
got to
also
do,
ran out
right?
of trading post favors.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
I
I mean,
guess
I
he had
guess it's I
I6.
6, but like, yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
not
true.
ideal. Yeah, town locations for cultists look a little bit rough here too.
Cultists. given
I mean,
these
could be two,
resources,
but
I think that he probably needs to advance digs this game. Um, okay. He probably doesn't need to. He could just go for Stronghold and Sanctuary next round, but that seems unlikely being on the TP tile. I think that advancing digs to get to carve a town in the northwest um, might be a good idea for cultists. They might be able
yeah,
to get to
that's still
climb the
pretty
fire
rough.
trap.
That's two double
It's
digs. It's a double dig on A5, double dig on B4. Or so yeah, I mean, upgrade digs would be the way to do it, obviously. But that's rough.
yeah, it's not
I
clear
don't
how
disagree. I don't
well Zeus is
agree.
going to do.
Yeah, I don't disagree that that's might be his best option. But I'm just looking at it. Just it hurts. It hurts a little bit.
I think that I mean, so cultists are going to open up the coins. I find it pretty likely
Definitely.
that
Yeah.
they wind up going for a sanctuary for fire two. Um, or I don't think that that's a bad idea because fire two comes with a worker, right? Um, it comes with
Yeah. Right.
racing
Right.
up ice maidens and engineers who might want fire two. Um, there's only one priest spot left, so the fire two, the cult steps are going to be valuable for scoring. And then he can take a town that might help him to advance his digs and get further and carve that second town as well.
Yeah.
Um,
Totally. And you know what? It looks like Claybo's got if Claybo goes Sanctuary next round, which
Stronghold, I mean,
one
right?
oh excuse me, yeah, Stronghold next round, which I guess Ryan could get out of the round onto the coins first. Claybo does need coins pretty badly. But with a Stronghold next round, I see three pretty easy towns here now for Claybo. And he's on 80 points. I don't know how he's done this, but working that Claybo
Yeah.
magic.
Um,
Yeah, there it
I would say
goes.
that, yeah,
Got us
that's
onto the
true.
coins.
Playbo has used his, he's kind of bootstrapped his economy, right? Like he used the cults, he's used
Totally.
this,
Totally.
he's using this stronghold tile, which gave him points, which gave him workers, and he was able to do a hard dig. Uh, and now he's in good position to contest. Now he's passed on to the six coins time. So Playbo's passing game and cult game has been pretty essential to his ability to keep an economy going while building relatively tall for nomads and not really getting connection. But
Yeah, absolutely.
um, it looks like
Nomad's
he'll only
playing
be winning
culty
one cult.
here. Oh, sorry, what?
It looks like he will only be winning one cult. Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
which
but he
normally you'd
basically,
like
I
to have a
mean,
little more.
all
Yeah,
these workers, how many? So this is going to be, he's going to get at least four workers off of fire next round, maybe five. So let's say he gets four workers off of fire. He also got three workers off of air earlier. I mean, he's like you said, he bootstrapped his economy. Is so many of these workers are coming from the cults, and I think it also hurts cultists a lot to have nomads be playing so culty, and ice maidens for that matter, taking the two key town, already sending four priests to cults too.
yeah. I
A
mean,
lot
I
of
don't
bad
think
breaks
that
for
cultists are
cultists here.
I mean, cultists are more bothered by Icemen than nomads here, I think, because I don't
Yeah,
think they
that makes sense.
like nomads. Yeah, they took maybe 2 points away from cultists, maybe uh, on the air track. But on Earth track, they're going to win Earth. Cultists aren't or nomads aren't the ones bothering them on water, and they were never in the fire race. So I think that the fact that Ice Maidens have such with that landscape, they have such easy access to digs and the ability to lock up that Shuki town. It's a little like Swarmlands, right? They had
Yeah,
issues there.
totally.
Uh, I had forgotten about the fades coming off the cult for
Oh,
cultists.
same.
So they now
So who's got?
B4 and
Yeah,
possibly B3 are open with only 2 days. Um,
yeah. Okay,
and they
doesn't look
actually
so
have the
bad.
power to take a double spade. I mean, they're going to take coins. They should definitely take coins instead of digs
Definitely.
here.
And there it goes. But
Yep.
yeah, ice maidens could be threatening before here though. Oh no, I guess so. That's across the color of them, so that doesn't make any sense. I take it back.
Iceman need to advance their digs. They
Yeah.
need to. Um, I would assume that this is the round where they do. So
Yeah,
really, their
it's.
economy does not look good.
I know that all that power basically has to become coins. They did snag a bridge at the end of last round, by the way, which makes a lot of sense. There, it looks like there's a decent amount of bridge pressure here now. Claybo got the bridge to start off this round, but it looks like I guess at this point it's just engineers
Fire
that
two
want it.
for. I assume that this is fire two, right? Oh, it's air one.
No, he goes there one.
Interesting.
Okay.
Um, Bizzle is going to need to take some worse towns because of this air one grab, I believe, in order to
Yeah,
in order
make up for
to
that,
make
right?
3 towns.
Yeah. I wonder if there's any reason he's not going for any way he wouldn't be going for 3 towns here. Because he's got the resources where he can convert a priest and he can just go he can upgrade the stronghold this round too.
You could, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
If
he
he
could get a
converts
town
all of
out
his
of
priests into
G7.
workers, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He can if he takes the workers action, he can turn this G7, H6, H5 into a town right now. Get a bridge, build a bridge the hard way. I think. I mean, I'm not sure if he's going to do that, but either way,
I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you.
either
I
yeah,
think that'd
either
be
way, the
pretty cool.
towns look pretty expensive. I don't know. We'll see. I bet he's got the juice for 3, or if not, he's got some other plan. But
I would say that a stronghold that's worth probably what 6 points of bridges per round. So that's 12 points plus 5 points this round. That might be just worth it. Like,
nine
and
points
then
this
worry
round
about the
actually
third
too,
town
because
later, right?
he's on the
Yeah.
pass tile. Yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, even more than that, right? That's what do we say? 12, 17, 21 point stronghold. Like that's
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's gotta be better than a
Seems
third
worth it.
town. But the third town is not like out of question just because he builds this, right? Like next
Oh,
round he can
totally
just
not.
try to build that town. So
Yeah, I mean, E4 is still sitting there, and he's got he'll have the ability to bridge up over there
yeah,
for
I do
points
wonder
either
if
way.
Ice Maidens might um disrupt him by taking E2 and or C2. That would end
E2, C2,
this
yeah,
middle town.
yeah, yeah.
But Ice Maidens have not yet advanced their digs, and we're not sure if they're going to here. They look like they want their strongholds, but Ryan is
Right.
asking whether nomads can
Uh,
sandstorm and ice, and Clabo says no. It's a good point of order.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I wonder if this is foreshadowing. Cultists also took um, ended up towning up with the sanctuary town. They did take fire too. I forget if you already said that, but they got a sanctuary town in the south here and took the single cult sub town, the 8 VP town, which helps them close out water as well.
It's true. Yeah.
Their point total,
So
I
yeah,
mean,
I
their
mean
point total doesn't look
Cultists have
bad,
two.
but
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean they have a lot of points, right? Like they start at 40. They've passed very well 4 points. Um, right, like they've gotten onto point styles as they've needed to. Um, they've gotten Air One, which is going to be a nice dribble of points throughout the game.
yeah, yeah,
Um, they're doing their thing.
yeah. A lot of really interesting game plans here. Yeah, and then there's the sandstorm that we were expecting there. So C2
Yep.
opens up B1 right away, makes this town viable over here, obviously in the north, and then it gives him access on his 2 shipping to F1, G2, potentially G1 down there as well. Apparently, you can't break the ice, says Rafa.
I think that this no connection nomads game is pretty cool. It just goes to show you that you can play. Nomads are such a flexible faction, right?
Oh,
Like,
they're so versatile. They're such a good faction. I feel
yeah,
like
I
they're a
think that
great
this
starting faction too. Like to learn to play the game. I feel like they're a really good faction.
I totally agree because not having to worry about spades with that stronghold is really strong. You have that economic advantage, so you're not going to be as worker strapped as you might be if you're playing another faction. Mm.
Totally.
So even if you open a temple, like you can do some hard digs to like, get going a little later.
Totally, totally. And
But
what I'm
I
seeing here
really
too
like what
is,
Kobo's
oh,
done
sorry.
here
Yeah,
with
me
this
too.
like
It's a cool game.
all game.
So Cultists, what I'm seeing here is they've got 4 priests in hand. They've got access to B4 now, although it's Ice Maidens could be threatened. No, no. Again, Ice Maidens don't have upgrade digs yet. But it looks like Red Alert's going to be able to get enough power for the double spade here. Double spade's still available this round.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks like Red Alert might be able to build both B4 and B3, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, that's great. And
Did you see the
that would be
strongholds
a town
from
too. That would be a town this round if he did so, or
Yep.
if they did so.
Yep. We are seeing here engineers are going for their um stronghold town. Oh, could it be possible that we actually see the Cultist stronghold here? Probably not, right?
Ooh, maybe. Nah, probably not this
He's on the
round.
trading post pass tile.
Yeah, so probably
Makes
not.
it a little less likely, but still, it
But
would be fun, right?
Ice Maiden's plan is a little bit more apparent to me now because again, I'm not used to seeing this faction, but this round Ryan built out the stronghold, which gives you points for passing when you have for every temple you have on the board. Built out a third temple here, which is great for points, and then that with that third temple took fire two to make those towns a lot easier.
See,
That's
do
gonna
you
be
think
that's a
that
lot of points coming in.
do you think that we might see him complete the town here, or do you think? I mean, he could convert 3 power to a worker, right, and
He
then build the
could.
dwelling to get a
I can't.
town.
I can't imagine though. I would imagine he'll just wait till next round, maximize points from the
Sure,
dwelling round. And I mean, I gotta
that's
figure there's
true.
something better for Ryan
It's
to do
not
with
clear
this
that that
powered up
town would get him
next round.
anything, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, there's that town from Bizzle too, from engineers. So goes for the worker town. Yeah, resource town, like you expected.
yep, that's going to be a bridge, I think. Um,
Yeah, right. Can build a bridge this round, get those pass
yep,
points.
which effectively makes it like a 10-point town, right? That also,
Yeah,
yeah,
very nice. So that's got to be E3 to D2, right? Town, get that
yeah. So I
town.
think that it has to be that. E4 is a little more easily disrupted, and it's also further from being a town.
Yeah. All right. This is the point of the game at which I start wondering who's in the lead, and certainly when streaming, I have more trouble with that. Do you have any gut for this at the moment? I mean, I feel like it's really hard to tell.
Very
Like
good question.
who looks good here? Because one thing I'm thinking is that E2 hex is pretty huge for Bizzle, especially if he commits the bridge right now. Um, in order to be able to get that town, and it's very easy for Ice Maiden to block with a spade
True. As long as
if
they
they can
make a
spare the
temple, then they're
spade.
going to be good. Um,
Yeah.
I think if Bizzle gets his 3 towns, he's in a pretty good spot. He seems to be doing the best on distance currently. Um, I think that Ryan's going to struggle a bit here, but he's not on a pass tile, which is a bit tough. Um,
Also, this is about to be a 17-point pass for engineers here, unless I'm doing that math wrong. 8 for the pass tile, 6 more for the bridges, and then 3 from Air One.
that's insane.
That's wild.
Yeah,
And look, he's got the greatest distance so far, right? I mean, unless we think that Claybo's not connecting. So Ice Maidens and Engineers are the two that are really looking like, well, let's count out these hexes. Right now, Cultists north to south are looking like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hexes away. Maybe diagonal.
yeah. I would say
Yeah,
that Lobo has a lot of points, and he's going to pass for points. Um, and he's winning one cult. But the fact that he's scoring 0 on network is going to hurt him, and everyone else has ways to make points as well. So
yeah,
I would say
totally.
that Claybo is probably not winning. Um, I slightly lean against Ice Maidens being winning. Um, like they're not on a pass tile. They do have 2 towns, which is nice, and they're doing decent on the cults. But it's not like
Yeah,
they're running
yeah,
away with cults, right? Um, Now they should do well on both networks. I think that they're going to beat cultists in both network categories, so they could be like
I think
getting 24
so.
points from there,
And unless I'm
which might
counting
put them
wrong,
at
I
cultists.
think I think A10 for. I mean, I'm giving Ice Maidens a lot of spades here, but A10. I mean, they could take the double spade to start this round. A10 does increase their greatest distance to tie engineers, unless I'm mistaken. And if Ryan thinks Bizzle's the biggest threat here, and it's between the two of them, then blocking E2, like I said, blocking that town could be a huge hit to Bizzle.
Yeah, that's true. Like we could very well see Ice Beams open with A10, E2, right?
Yeah,
And then
and
once
then
E2
big
is hit,
B5
like there's just no
after.
way.
Yeah. The B5 is going to be necessary for the. No, B5 might not even be necessary for the town. They could still sanctuary. I guess that's pretty expensive.
I think that B5 is has to happen.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true. I didn't consider that.
Yeah, we'll see.
Um, yeah. Ice Maidens, remember, are also highly incentivized to make another temple. The temple is 4 points or 3 points from the stronghold, right?
Oh, I
And
see.
it
So
also
yeah,
plays
yeah,
a spade. So we could see Ryan like Temple for Earth 3 or something, or even Fire 3.
yeah.
Um,
That makes
and then
sense.
transport and just hit E2 or something, right? Like,
Yeah. So this is a moment of truth too. Double dig. Okay, so
oh, he
E2 is
plays a,
spared. Yeah,
yep.
Rafa in chat was saying E2 should be blocked for sure, but maybe Ryan's
Yeah,
done the
this,
math enough to know that he's either got a sizable lead on Bizzle or that he's already out of contention. But this is
this
actually
does
they're
not
playing
look
for
like a
second
sizable
place
lead on
too.
Bizzle.
No, I don't think so either. But
Yeah.
yeah, Bizzle's still passing for a lot of points. Has a lot
Yeah,
coming
Bizzle
in.
must be thrilled right now. This is going to be a single
Oh
spade
yeah,
on E2, I think. If it's not,
definitely.
then he deserves to have that town like blown up.
Yeah, agreed. What town's he going for then? I mean, he can kind of take his pick, right? I mean, I guess maybe the workers' town gives
Yeah, he
him the
doesn't have Fire
juice
2, so I
to
think that he needs
yeah.
something. He needs two workers to. Wow.
Oh,
Oh my
okay.
God. This is so okay, so here's the plus side. Here's the sell for this, right? It decreases his need for shipping. Um, but the and he might also be thinking like, well, you know what? Ice Maidens said no thank you once. I'm just gonna play greedy and assume that you won't again. But Ryan has a pretty good case here with Temple.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. We'd have to
now,
build
I
the
mean,
sanctuary first because he does have three temples out already.
does he?
Yeah,
He does. He does.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So they
In
were
that case, I think that that's
he
a
built the
reasonable
third for
reason.
fire too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, I
yeah.
see.
I was forgetting about the temple spades though.
Yeah.
But I mean, he could have. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
he's not
think a
gonna.
hard dig. He's got fire too. I think a hard dig would not be insane either. You know what I
No,
mean?
I mean,
Like
I think you probably gotta advance your digs. Like those are that's just such an
it's so
efficient
many
source of
points.
points.
Yeah, it is so
Yeah,
many
for Ice
points.
Maidens.
So
And
maybe a
he needs
coin
stuff to
town from
like
Ice
build
Maidens, huh?
A10, probably
If
dig
there's
I3.
coin town could
Yeah.
look pretty good here to be able to no go straight for 11 points.
Um,
Interesting. So maybe there's no advanced digs here after all. Maybe just one for some points. I don't know.
I think that there's just enough stuff left if he takes a coin town, maybe, to build C3, make a TP,
Yeah.
build A10, and then advance digs twice, and not play disruptive at all.
Right. Right.
Um,
Yeah, because the 11 pointer would have been under threat potentially, but the coin towns
yeah,
really are not. So it makes sense to just do it in that
my
order.
eyes are just drawn right now towards these Ice Maidens and Engineers, simply
Yeah.
because I don't think that Bizzle has quite the end game points that he needs. Um, but of course, I could be wrong about that. Sorry, Nomads, I think, don't have quite the end game points that they need, but they're gonna probably end the game with the most straight up points with these two towns.
Yeah.
Cultists appear to have one town coming in. They've advanced their digs once. Um,
So is this? Let's see how many. Yeah, no fire two from nomads here because there's no need for it. Takes the 8 pointer. Does the engineers need fire two here? I don't think so. Do they?
Engineers shouldn't need fire too. No,
Yeah, because
they're gonna get
they don't have the
resources
training
from this.
posts otherwise.
They have a spade tile, so they don't
Two.
need to hard dig.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Okay. So spade on E2, and then
Yeah.
no, because then I think they can still they got two trading posts. They can go E5, E4, and they're good since
Yep.
they haven't used any of their trading posts in the existing town.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, that's nifty. Nice little play there.
It's kind of interesting that I'm not sure that anyone's going to get down to like. Certainly, it doesn't look like anyone's going to get down to like two structures, right?
No, and
Um,
actually, it's funny. Nomads actually are down to 4 structures already with plenty of resources
yeah,
left,
Nomads will
but
have
they're
the
not
fewest
connected.
structures left, but of course, they're not going to score any points for that.
Yeah, it's a bummer. You hate to see it.
Yeah, so it looks like Ice Maidens have a chance at winning network, like regular network, I mean, it looks pretty
This has got to
competitive
be
between Fizzle
engineers
and
here,
Ice
though.
Maidens. Yeah.
I think it's got to be engineers because he can greed out. Really, he can get 2 priest towns here. That's just 18 points. Passing for another million points or so. Although I guess Bizzle isn't on a pass tile this round. Coinstown.
Still has
Okay.
taken coins.
Oh,
That's
needs
for
to advance
shipping and
shipping still. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
yeah. So this next one is going to be a priest. So he has 9 points coming in. Um,
Yeah, and actually, I don't know if
6 points of water
yeah,
one.
I don't know if we talked about this, but B3 was taken by nomads here, so cultists have yet to form a town in the north there.
Cultists
And I
are fine. They
guess,
have fire too, and advanced
yeah.
digs.
Oh, in
They're gonna,
advanced digs, I missed that
yeah,
entirely. Yeah,
so
yeah,
they're gonna dig before. Yeah,
yeah.
that's where all their
So they're
resources
huge
went.
here.
So they're gonna
Yeah, yeah,
dig
yeah.
before and make a TP, and they'll be fine.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah. It looks like they're just going to take a priest town as well. They have no real reason to want any more resources. They'll just advance their ship, and then they'll come in second on network to, or they'll just make third on both networks.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, with how a total of what, 9, maybe 10 structures? It's not bad.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
It's
So they're going to
pretty
get four
efficient
points
energy
from the
scoring.
ship advance and 9 points from the town. Maybe a couple points of resources. So it looks like they'll be at 113, pass for 13 for like
Yeah.
126, plus like,
Two firsts on
12 points.
cults. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, one way or another, not scoring anything off of Earth 1, Water 1 for cultists here, it's going to be an impressive
I
score,
think
regardless
cultists
of
are in
where it
like
lands.
the easily in the 150s, maybe close to 160.
Wow. Yeah, that might be enough, huh? Well, I guess with expansion scoring, I imagine engineers will still pass that, right?
Yeah, I think engineers are going to have how many are engineers passing for? They're passing for like 9 from the stronghold and 4 from air ones. They're passing for just as many as cultists.
They are.
Um,
I think their network actually. I think they're going to be second network to Ice Maidens. I think this looks like it could be Ice Maidens with a network win, right? I mean, I guess
yeah, I
they
don't think engineers should be able to build another structure here. Um,
would need a hard dig, right?
well, are there landscapes in this game? I guess
There
no, there
are.
are no
Could
landscapes.
hard dig.
Oh,
Oh
he's
no,
already
there
got his
aren't.
landscape out. He's
Oh yeah,
already
he's
got
already
his
got it out. Yeah,
landscape
there it
out.
is. There
That's
it
why.
is. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Um,
Yeah, I think
so
it's
if he
just second
builds two
as well.
TPs and he takes a worker town, then he could dig, but he needs a priest to advance his ship. Um, so that's not going to happen.
No, I don't think so. I mean, this could become a ship town too. I mean, but that's pretty. It's a little bit sad. I guess a coin town's a point more, anyways. All right. Well, we're coming down to it here. What
Yeah.
else?
So the question is like, are like ice maidens and engineers are going to have similar network points, um, but engineers are going to have a lot more points when they pass. The question is, are ice maidens cult advantage big enough to overcome that?
Yeah. Let's see.
Uh,
So currently, Ice Maidens look like they've got um, 16, maybe 17 cult points if they don't get past. Cultists could, they got some priests in hands to defend if they need to. Ice Maidens actually need to advance ship one more time as well, though.
oh, that's a good observation. So ice maidens have no are not advancing their digs at all this game, which is I consider that to be a letdown. I think.
Yeah, that's a bummer,
Um,
definitely.
yeah, ice maidens are gonna be able to put one priest to fire, advance their ship, and then build A10. That's the rest of their game, I think.
Yeah. But you know what? I mean, as sad as it is to not have advanced digs, if they end up winning network and tying on greatest distance, that's got to more than compensate, right?
That's huge. Yeah.
Or about compensate, I guess. All right, Claybo snags the priest town, which I tend to think of the 8, 9, and 11 pointers as kind of like the high VP towns.
Yep.
We still got,
Yep.
we still got 7 VP, 6 VP left, but Claybo does manage to get that. We've still got one more town incoming from engineers and one more town incoming from cultists here.
I mean, I wonder if engineers are now like incentivized to temple for fire for Earth 3 or something, and then make another trading post to get
Interesting.
points.
Yeah.
But I would think that they probably are not. They probably just want to advance ship twice or something.
What's interesting too is that there's still the only two priest spots left are on Earth, and I gotta figure we're gonna see some folks in the next couple of moves here throw Priest to Fire if they can spare him, because it's such a race there for first and second. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I just said Fire to Earth, which Red Alert
Yeah,
does.
yeah. Well, I mean, Cultist putting that there is kind of putting an end to it.
Certainly, but still racing for second could be worth something. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, like it's probably not worth the Earth 3 though from engineers at this point.
Able probably wants to build a TP. Yeah, Clavo must want to build a TP here.
Yeah,
And then
maybe
he's
that's
going
an
to
idea.
build G2 for 4 more. So that's going to be 132. He'll pass and make it 140. And then
Yeah,
he'll have 12 points off the cult. Um,
so
or,
like low
yeah,
150s for Nomads. Yeah,
yeah.
no Air 1 for Nomads. So okay, so Nomads low 150s. Where'd you say
Engineers are
engineers
very
were?
clearly above that, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
engineers are
so.
way above. And Ice Maidens
What's it,
probably should be
15
well above
points
that as well.
apiece
But
for greatest distance? Let me double check my greatest distance math. Did you do this math yet? Let me see. One,
I'm counting now.
two.
1, 2,
Okay,
3,
yeah,
4,
I'm gonna
5, 6,
have you do that.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have
I, th-
12 for Ice Maidens.
I think it's 12 for Engis too. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, I think they're tied. So they'll split
Yeah.
15 points apiece there.
Yep.
And then 18 for Ice Maidens and 12 for Engineers. Ice Maidens are passing for a decent number of points too, just from their
Yeah, but
strongholds.
engineers are passing for just as many. Um,
Yeah, 9
so because
plus.
because of this
Yeah,
current
yeah, yeah.
edge, well, okay, so Ice Maidens are ahead in outright network. So they have a 6 point edge there, and then looks like NGs only have they're gonna have like 3 points on the cult or something. So they'll have what do we say, like 20-ish points?
Yeah, like
Um,
15-ish, I think. So
so
call it
it's gonna
other
be
plus
very, very
12.
close between. Yeah,
I think
I
so.
think engineers should comfortably have it over Ice Maidens in terms of end game score or in terms of final score.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
No, I
the
think you're
points
right.
coming
I
in
think you're
here, and
right.
they're passing for a fair bit more than Ice Maidens are passing for.
Yeah, and that shipping advance was another 4 too. I sort of forget how
Yeah,
much those final ship advances can
yeah,
be at the end
yeah.
of the game.
So
It's
engineers
not a
are
bad way to
passing for
score.
4, so it's gonna be 24 points of a gap. Ice Maidens make up like 17 on the cults and then 4 on the or 6 in network, so they're making up 23 points. So actually, it might be like a 1 point win here for engineers over Ice Maidens, if I've counted correctly. Like if
Wow.
I guesstimated correctly.
Wow, that's close.
Yeah, it seems wild for Ice Maidens to win network outright with all this stuff left on their board.
And without advancing
And they're
digs.
tying for greatest distance.
Yeah.
It's it's pretty filthy.
That start was really strong. I mean,
Yeah,
positioning wise, certainly seems like it worked out really well. But being able to get that early 2 key town, capitalize some of the cover rewards, that can't have hurt.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Cultists
Cultist,
end
by
up
the
with a
way,
kind of sad. Yeah.
Missed out on getting the priest town. So they wound up
Yeah.
actually getting a lower VP town than they would have liked, I think.
Yeah, a little bit
Um,
sad.
yeah, there were so many towns that were formed this round. Like this game, like this has been really interesting because this game kind of looked like Nomads only looked like they had one real town spot before that stronghold came out, and like they started hard digging and building bridges and stuff. Cultists were really struggling to find neighbors. Um, and Ice Maidens, had spread all their dwellings out. Like engineers spread all their dwellings out. But we have what? There's only 3 town tiles left at the end of this game.
Yeah, that's
Um,
insane. I mean, and on a
yeah,
new map too. Like I'd be surprised if any of these players have played this map more than once or twice. I mean,
yeah,
I think it really speaks to the strength of the table. Honestly, I think it's a big
yeah,
part of it. I mean, and I feel like that can snowball. The whole table being strong can snowball even further too, because the more resources everyone's got and the more efficient they are early on, the more leech that's
yeah.
flowing around throughout the game. It's kind of like this. Yeah,
And one interesting thing is like it looked like there was a bit of a rush to key hexes at the beginning, like the way that cultists kind of dug away some yellows of nomads.
totally.
They hemmed nomads in and prevented them from going wide. But then after that, they just kind of chose to play a little, a little wider, a little cultier. Ooh, Cultists making a late push for, is this for a distance? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Oh,
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think I have 11 for Cultist distance for
yeah,
this game.
okay. Wow. That was neat. I did not see that coming.
Yeah, I think that they're just short.
Interesting.
They are going to be able to build another dwelling, so that's a fair number of points. Oh
Yeah,
no,
not
just
bad.
kidding. It's only 2 points for them.
Oh, right. Yeah, no Earth one. Still,
Yeah,
takes a priest. This is going to fire?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It
okay.
goes on fire. They have the landscape, so it's worth 2 points
Yeah,
to put
yeah.
that priest to fire.
Very nice.
Yeah, maybe I
Yeah.
underestimated cultists.
Well,
Cultists,
I don't
I
know.
said 150s, right? But
I
now it
think
looks
so.
like they're probably higher than that, or like they might
Asking
be
for
at like
9
160.
+4 here. Yeah, we'll see where it lands. Let's watch it play out.
Yeah.
Either way, I'm very impressed by this cultist game. This like kind of tall, weird,
Oh yeah, yeah,
spanning the
absolutely.
vertical of the map and but
Yeah,
connecting and upgrading. It was like a very interesting game.
they're just
Very
such a strong
opportunistic.
faction, right? Like they're
Yeah,
able to get away with like doing stuff that seems kind of uh like unconventional or weird or whatever,
totally.
simply because cult rewards can give you so much flexibility. And Red Alert, I think, played very well, right? Like we thought that this, or to me, like it didn't look that rich of cult rewards, but I mean, he managed to parlay those workers just like Clavo did. He was the one who got like the most advantage out of those spades, so it meant not having a really hard dig, um, meant having to take fewer power spade actions, just kind of focus on like your internal scoring, hitting the track, hitting pass tiles. It's really clever. Um, and yeah,
Ooh, one
I
seven
think I was off
six,
by
one
1 point. It
seventy
looks like
eight.
Fizzle wins by
Wow,
2 points, not one. And yeah, Red
that's
Alert does hit
some good math
160,
though.
but
Yeah,
we didn't math out exactly how many points Iceman and Energies had. But yeah, it's a lot.
even with expansion score, those are some big scores.
Yeah,
Good
yeah. Because
good
if you
game,
take
everybody.
18
Yeah,
points off of those scores, that's still like 160. Like that's
totally.
insane.
Yeah, that's nuts. Yeah, very impressive. Yeah, and like you said, I mean, all the
a bridge instead of passing on to the Sanctuary Stronghold tile.
Okay,
So
that was end of round 4, was it?
that was end of round 4, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
So we were going into Stronghold Sanctuary round. I I was like, I actually thought I was like, oh crap, I've made a mistake. I have to go up water to get the spade. So I'm gonna miss out on that tile. And when I didn't, I said, oh, so I get both?
Yeah, that was huge. Well, the other thing that we were seeing too is towards the end of the game, we were like, well, we can't tell exactly who it's close between. This was like maybe late round 5, before early round 6, maybe. We saw E2. You had E2 hanging, and Ice Maidens had a double dig coming in. We were afraid for you that Ice Maidens were going to dig E2 on you, block your town.
Yeah, so I looked at that and round 5 they didn't have the shipping to do it. So I was closely monitoring that
Oh,
situation.
I can imagine. But yeah, and then they were able to dig A10 instead, end up tying for the greatest distance. Yeah, okay, so like the Giants game you played, that was also greatest distance. Did you pretty much have that C1 B9 stretch in mind from pretty early on?
Yeah, I that was kind of my plan at the beginning. I knew I had to get E5 or E4 to be able to do that. So, and then D5 was a crucial hex that I also got again kind of lucky on. Um I also got a lot of the power I needed at the right time. So, because I was so power sharped early on, and honestly, I think I won the bid by quite a fair margin. I was able to just say, you know what, I don't care, just give me everything. And then on top of that, I was able to give cultist all the power or all the leech acceptance they needed because I needed cultists to fight ice maidens on the cults.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, there's sort of interesting dynamics this game with like the cult, the amount of factions that were focusing on the cult, and like particularly like you said, so with nomads out of contention for network, it seemed like there was definitely not enough room for 4 players to be jockeying over position for connection in those center islands, but there was like just barely enough room for 3 players.
Yeah, there was. And I think that the what was I gonna say? So I think that I let's see. Colted or because Ice Maidens kind of showed their hand early on and they said, I'm going for Colts, I was able to say, okay, yeah, but Colts are in the game and they're the only ones giving me leech. So you're not.
Totally. Durange, I feel like I've been sort of dominated here. What's on your mind? What questions do you have for Rizzle?
What did you think of other players' strategies this game? Like, what did you think? Did you feel that nomads or cultists were a threat at all? Like, you talked a lot about ice maidens.
So early on, until around round 2, I thought nomads were going to be a huge threat because they got so much leech. They got it for 39, right? I think their starting bid was.
Yep.
So, and I thought they were going to be a huge pain in my side throughout the entire game. Um, but that, but because they didn't get their stronghold early on, they weren't able to contest for connection. So that's nomads out of the game, right? I thought they would do well because Clayball always does well, but I didn't think that they were gonna. I don't think, especially in Fire and Ice scoring, if you are not connected, you are not like you're just not gonna win the game. There is no hope for you.
Yeah,
So
like if they had gotten the two key town instead of ice maidens, there was like a chance. But
yeah,
ice maidens chose to rush that and yeah, kind of took like the tall aspect out of Nomad's game a little bit there.
exactly. And I really didn't think that cultists were going to be a threat for most of the game. Especially so there are two factors on that one. One, they didn't get any leech in round 1 and went for fire or air 2 very early on. And then the second thing was getting they ended up getting blocked on the 2 key town. And so at that point, I knew they were going to be fighting a losing battle for connection because nomads were going to take a lot of the hexes that were all the yellow hexes effectively, which meant they weren't getting any of those. And then ice maidens were expanding very quickly, and I didn't think they would be able to get to the black hexes. So I didn't think that cultists were either going to be able to expand quickly enough, nor were they going to be able to win the cults while also getting everything else, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. So you pointed out that like one of the places where you thought you got lucky was in the passing game in round 4, right?
Mhm.
Like heading into the big building tile game round, right? Um, was it always your plan? Like if you didn't get that tile, were you still going to go stronghold that round, or do you think that you might have built a little less tall and a little more like, um, you know, I have to think that with 4 dwellings left on your board, and I see like, I see H2 as a free grade that's 1 dig away, and
I8.
I9 is a grade that's 1 dig away. Like you could have contested network instead, right? And you chose to go this tall route. Was that something that was on your mind, or were you always going to go with stronghold because you're like, I'm building 3 bridges. Why would I not just do that?
That's kind of where I was at. I was building 3 bridges. Why would I not do that?
Yeah, okay. So you're okay like conceding that like 12-point network swing to Ice Maidens then?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I really didn't, and this was my bad because I don't play with Ice Maidens that much. I was like, okay, Ice Maidens aren't going to beat me on connection; they're going to tie me at best. But I forgot about 3 free hexes being very good.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah, because I mean, it was just like surprising to me to see like 4 stuff left on someone's board and like winning network outright. It was pretty surprising, especially with engineers with no color movers in the game.
yeah, so the um, in reality, I think the double dig ended up determining the winner of the game, or not the winner. They ended up determining network at the end of the day. Um,
You mean the
because
round
if
1 double dig?
no, the round 6 double dig.
Ah, okay, okay.
So the round 6 double dig ended up being what made that. If I had gotten it, I would have gotten a G3 and H2 or something to that effect. I would have gotten some sort of or I would have been able to win that connection. So it was very close anyway. Um, I would have probably had to rethink my plans, but I'm just kind of glad it went the way it did.
Yeah, I
So
mean, it definitely went like, you got like some of the right breaks, right? You didn't get your hexes, you didn't get like the most important hexes dug at the end. You still managed to get second on network, even though you had a bunch of stuff left on your board. And you managed to tie for first in overall network. So
178, not too shabby of a score, even with expansion store scoring, honestly.
yeah, it was nice. I was quite happy with this one.
It's nice to have a good game. Well, yeah, okay, so huge congrats again on getting second place here. That's got to feel good. First place here, second place in the league. I do have one more thing that's very important to address
Okay.
here. Now, there's been these rumors flying around. I've heard them from at least one, maybe 2 people, that there could be a postseason exhibition 2v2 game within this league. Do you have any comment on this, on these rumors?
I have many comments on those rumors. Basically, if Canada wants to come out and lose again, that's fine with us.
Oh, oh man.
Like,
I think we just leave it at that. Whew.
if third and fourth place by a mile want to come at first and second, that's okay.
I mean, that's fair.
strong.
You've earned it. You've earned that in this league. But there's some strong players. I'd love to see some. I'd love to see that. So we'll just see. But in any
Yeah, we'll
case,
see.
congrats again. Congrats to Claybo, who we've talked to a couple of times on previous streams. We won't have him back and belabor it, but huge congrats on the league win. Um, and
Yeah,
yeah, thanks to Deranged too. Thanks for stepping in. This was a lot of fun.
So it was fun to join in. Congrats, Bizzle.
thanks a lot. And
Yeah.
also, we did it, America. We did it.
Go America, am I right? Uh, I feel like I'm just like, this is like a credit sequence now at this point. But one other thing to come to mind is just huge thanks to the organizers of TMTL, EJ, Ghostly, and Super. So much work goes into this, and it was a ton of fun. There was a ton of leagues going on. There were like 3 other games going on at the same time as this one. Games across tons of time zones before this. So, anyways, hope everybody had a good season, and thanks again to the organizers, because this is always a good time.
Yeah, this is awesome. Thanks, Terra Mystery Cats.
All right, I think that
All
does it. Later, everybody. Take care.
All right, bye-bye.